What?
Was.
Because this is the one that carries the meaning. And I think it's my life is third person singular. So it's this one, was. Okay? Now, why can't we have simple past or past perfect? I'll tell you. Or maybe you already know. Before. It tells us the order.
It's not usually used with past perfect.
That's right. Very good. You don't need, with the word before, it already tells us the order. Past perfect tells us order too. Past perfect says this verb happened first and then another one happened second. But the word before already tells us the order. So you don't need past perfect, but you can use past perfect. But it's redundant, means like it's already, it's not necessary. Because if we say was with before, we still know this is first. But if I changed it to when, I would have to use past perfect. Do you know why?
Yeah, because we don't know which action having first.
Right. With when, we don't know the order. Because, we talked about the word, when you have two verbs, simple past, with the when happens, the verb with the when happens first, but I could just move that over here and this verb happens first. So if you want this verb, if I have simple past, and I have the when here, if I want this one to be first, or this one is first, but if I want this one, I have to put the when here. But if I use when plus simple past, but I want this one to be first, simple past, then I have to use past perfect. Something like that. I don't think I explained that well, but I can explain again if you want. Okay, next mistake. So you see, you can change the words when I remember, that means right now, what my life, we could say was like or had been like. These are our two choices. I hope you understand this. Before we were married, I realize now how lonely I've been before. No, you have to say again, had been or was. Same reason. Same reason as what we just did there. Had been before means I had been before we were married, or I was before we were married. Same idea though. Next mistake. See in the next line where it says Jim is a wonderful guy. Since we both work, we have to say take. You can't say took. Because see the words, since we both work, we take turns doing the housework. It means right now. In this sense, you guys, let me ask you this. Stop. I'm sorry, I don't mean that, but I just mean since. Does this tell us, there's two meanings for since. Does this mean because or starting at the beginning? Like, since can tell us start at the beginning time? Yes, that's right. So if it means because, you can use any tense. But usually if you use it to talk about connecting past to the present, you have to have main verb is present perfect and the verb with since. You can use, if there is one, you can use simple past. Okay, next line. Okay, so I've shown you 3 mistakes. Now we're going to number 4. After the word housework, in the next line it says, he's really good about that. When we were dating, when we were dating, I wasn't sure. When we were dating, I wasn't sure. Do you want me to explain? I can explain that.
No.
It's okay?
It's like the same mistake as number 2.
A little bit, but this is simultaneous. It's simultaneous meaning. Do you understand?
When we had been dating.
No. If you say had been, it's finished, and then second, I wasn't sure.
So
That would be wrong. You can't say, when we had been dating, I wasn't sure, because had been, okay. But these are happening at the same time. Dating and wasn't sure, all at the same time, simultaneous. I don't have two progressives though, because wasn't is a stative verb. So I can't say wasn't being sure. Okay? I hope this is clear. All right, let's go on.
How do you spell simultaneously?
Yeah. Okay, simultaneous. Simultaneous. And then sometimes sleep. Simultaneously. Simultaneously.
That's in level 3 book, vocabulary.
Oh, it's in your vocabulary, chapter 7?
Chapter 7.
Something like that?
15.
Oh, you remember, that's good. Just, yeah.
Two things happen in the same time.
50? Yeah. 15, I don't know, it's chapter 7, like that. Okay. All right, then, next mistake. Next line. I wasn't sure whether or not I would have to do all the housework. I would have to do all the housework. See the word will?
Yeah.
I have to change it to would. Do you know, is this would, think about it. I wasn't sure I would have to do the housework. We're dating at this time, wasn't sure. Wasn't sure, sure is just an adjective. I would have to do all the housework. To do all the housework. Okay, so let's look at this. You guys, these two are at the same time, but it's all past. Do you think this would is past habit or future in the past? Future in the past. And it's because the housework would be later after they got married. So this is future in past. It's the part that's future is compared to here. Like dating before, get married and do housework. That part's the future. It's the past because it's all the past now. It's all in the past. Okay, great. Let's see, going on. But and it says wasn't having, oh, it has to be, I didn't have any reason to worry. Didn't have, because have here is a state of verb. So you can't use it in progressive. This meaning would not be in the progressive. Didn't have, you have to use didn't have instead of wasn't having, because have here means own or possess. And that's why. Next, going down, and we have two more mistakes. Do you see the line that begins with the words I have is that you need Jim snores? Jim snores. Simple present, because at night tells us, the two words, at night tells us habit, routine, schedule. At night means all the time. And then your last mistake is in the last paragraph where it says, well, I'd had, it means I've had. I've had a long and tiring day. That's connecting past to the present. Beginning, to have a day means you start the beginning and now it's finished, the day. I've had a long and tiring day. It's connecting the idea starting in the morning until now. I've had a long and tiring day. I have had. It's present perfect. I've had.
Jim used to snore.
Jim snores.
Snores.
Yeah.
Okay.
Simple present because it's still a problem. That's why it's still complaint. Are you guys good? So we focused, if you look at this, when you were doing, like when you see these type of mistakes, we focus on the verbs. But the other words help us to know what tense we need in our own understanding of the situation. All right, I'd like to go to the next homework assignment, was page 31. page 31. And as I have reminded you, this one you can check your mistakes, or you can check the answers and see if you have mistakes. So it says here, check your answers on page UR1, but actually it's probably further on. But we just go to the back and say UR, and then 1. So it says here, like UR1, and that means that this is where the answers are. And this is for Unit 2, so that's these answers. Now, do you want to ask any questions about this? Yes, Seth?
Number 4.
Number 4, and I bet, is it part A?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So far, their favorite is Brazil. Up to this point, their favorite is Brazil, which they have visited twice. Okay, so they have visited, okay, we want present perfect because it means that it is a finished action, so it can't be progressive. They can't say they've been visiting, but and the word twice tells us 1, finish, 2, finish. But also, we're talking about here, the word was so far, it means that they may continue traveling. Because when you use so far, there's an understanding that there may be more in the future. It's not all finished. So far means like up to now. But that includes the idea that you may have more in the future. So we went present perfect because of the connecting past to the present, because the so far at the beginning. And you can't have progressive because they did it twice, that means finished. Do you have some other questions on this page? Okay. I will go to, I want to start future today, but I also want to give you an assignment. This is a writing assignment. And will you take one and pass it back? Take one and pass it back. And here's what you have to do. Here's the topic. It's about trend. And it says right here, I'm just taking this part where it says directions. It has a definition of trend, but you guys, I know you know trend because that's a vocabulary word from level 3. If there's an extra, you can pass it forward. But it says choose one of the topics. And there's 4 topics, 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to choose one. Rose, will you take those from her? Thank you. Choose one of the topics to write a short essay of 2 or 3 paragraphs. So if you ask, how long does it have to be? 2 or 3 paragraphs, right here. Explain a trend that is familiar to you. And we can see the different trends here. Then using the writing checklist, which is here, check, to check your work. So here's one trend. Think about a culture or tradition that has influenced you and or people you know. Okay, describe what you admire about the culture. What changes have you made as a result of what you've learned? Okay, so I can think about this. My friends from Australia came to visit me last semester, and they are very influenced by American culture. They're in Australia, but they are heavily influenced by American culture, and it affects their music, their style of dress, a lot of things. So it may be that if I want to do this, I want to try to use, for example, I'll just show you how to do this. If I want to use, number 1, simple present to describe habit, our general routines, etc., then I might start this way. I might say, I'm using passive here, and I haven't explained passive, but you may have already learned it anyway. Our influence